Joining me today, Ismail Ertug, MEP from the Social Democrats, Vice President, and he's in charge of a digital agenda for his group. Thanks for joining us today. We have here your manifesto, essentially, for the digital age. What's different about this compared with anything else that we've read about the digital agenda?
I think we as Social Democrats, our duty is to transform our societies towards to the new world, let me say new world, which is the online world. And whereas the other groups or political parties, they are concentrating themselves more on the chances, the advantages, but we have to think about the people who are in between, you know. They maybe who are 50 plus or something like this, they have to be recognized as well, and we have to take care of them. This is the difference to the others.
So you talk about nobody being left behind. Is that really practical?
This is practical. This is the headline, the narrative of our paper, leaving nobody behind, but at the same time offering opportunities for everyone. This is in particular, that goes only together. So I think it's possible. We have to do so many things. The transformation has to be done in all the sectors, not only in industry, also societal, economical, educational, and so on. This paper gives us an overview of the situation in the future, which could be done and which has to be done in particular by the Commission.
Can you do it fast enough? Because you mentioned this, creating unions perhaps for Uber drivers, but in 5 years, Uber is not going to keep its drivers. It's going to have self-driving cars 5 to 10 years' time. You know, the speed of transformation is so quick. Is Europe far behind that speed?
I don't think anymore. So we have learned the lesson. As I started, for example, in the previous term, I've been the coordinator of my group for transport, and I founded the Driving Future platform because I knew, and my colleagues, we have acknowledged at that time that this will be the future, but the self-driving cars will be reality, but not in all the sectors. Therefore, we have to talk about the labor in any case.
So what do you do with 1 million unemployed taxi drivers?
So the thing is, there are other sectors where they can work at the same time, you know. So the taxi drivers are fine, but you need for the platforms the same workers in particular. But we have to educate them. We have to give them some literacy, and at the same time we have to secure them. Because if you look to the platform economy, you have people where we don't know: are they secure? Do they have the securities? Do they have their social insurance, the retirement,
well, on the social
and so on?
Insurance, you mentioned in this our inclusive digital Europe plan that we need to speed up the European insurance number, for example, that
Absolutely.
Everybody in Europe would have this insurance number. But ultimately, what's the point in that if you don't have a guaranteed income for a whole bunch of people who are going to lose their jobs through robotics and AI?
But this is just one little mosaic stone of the whole picture.
It's a pretty important one.
It's a pretty important one because if we have to do this in a European-wide approach, and European-wide does mean we need a European-wide registration number, which is the social insurance number. So this is the one thing. But on the other hand side, as I said on chapter 3, on chapter 4, for example, in particular on chapter 1, we explain and describe how we should do our lessons in order to leaving nobody behind on social, on educational, as I said before.
But does that mean a new social network? Does it mean a universal basic income? Does it mean a guaranteed standard of living?
We need in particular a new social contract, let me say it like this.
But who's going to pay for that contract?
No, this is an agreement, and societal agreement, let me say it like this. We have to save their minimum wages as we did in the offline world. We have to save their life standard, their working conditions. Collective bargaining, for example. And at the same time, in this sector, we have to bring into the right of disconnect, to be disconnect. This is very important for us.
On tax, you talk about an effective tax rate of 18%. How do you calculate that? Is that corporate tax rate? Is that a form of corporate tax plus VAT? How is that figure arrived at?
This is the minimum amount of the digital taxation for the big tech giants. That was our main topic in the European elections last year as well, but we want to improve that and we want to bring it in, but at the same time it has to be on European level and in particular on global level. If it doesn't work on global level, we have to do it on European level, and this is the minimum amount of 18%.
Why 18%? Why not 25%?
No, it could be 25%, but we did not want to put so much burden onto this sector from the starting point. It has to be increased, but in the starting point should be 18. This is the number what has been given by the experts.
For digital transformation, you need to re-educate Europe's population to a large extent as well, and you've got to have the skills match, which seems largely out of sync at the moment. You talk about STEAM instead of STEM,
yes.
STEM plus arts as well. Why is that important? Why have arts in there?
Because it's clear if we look to the industry, In particular from the automotive sector, for example. No, they are not anymore hiring only engineers. At the same time, now they are hiring more software engineers and so on. So the picture, the shape of the profession, they are changing, and towards we have to adapt ourselves as politicians.
And as politicians, how are you getting on with the disinformation? Are you getting wiped out in this? Are you still too far behind, or do you have a clear game-changing plan here?
That must be on chapter 5. I say we have a clear view in the end what we expect from the European Commission when it comes to disinformation. We have all the negative examples from the past, Trinidad Tobago, we have the issue in Gabon, so we have the problematic, the threat of deepfakes. In this paper we are clearly approaching the European Commission to come forward with a clear legislation for this.
Did Mark Zuckerberg read your proposal when he came to Brussels this week?
I don't know, maybe yes, maybe not, but he will read it in the future.
What was your impression from his visit here?
To be honest, I haven't joined his meeting, but our colleagues who joined it, they said it was to appreciate that he came at least with a vision, that he asked for my regulation, giving them a framework. This is fine, but in the end, they doubt that this will be enough and sufficient for the European Union level.
What will Social Democrats demand from Facebook, from Zuckerberg, from the giants?
No, I think it has to be, it's clear. We need more transparency, in particular when it comes to the algorithms. It has to be human-centric, it has to be based on European values, and if this is not the case, and if they cannot bring that, and if they cannot prove it, then we have to think about the structural separation.
Ismail Ertug, thank you.
Thanks a lot.